Excuse me.
Blighty Boxing, in association with Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions, we're here at the Peacock Gym, and we're lucky enough to be joined by the landlord, Martin Bowers. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Richard. Yourself? How was Christmas?
Good. Very good, thank you, Martin. Now, and you. Now, what we want to do, I know you don't like talking about yourself too much, so what we're going to do is just go through a few members of your squad, get a little update on their progress and things like that. Now, where I want to start is a fighter that's really caught the eye recently. I'm not talking about Daniel, I am talking about young Chris Bourke. I mean, what a fighter he looks. I mean, that Louie Norman stop or knockout at the Copper Box, that was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was special, wasn't it? I mean, Chris obviously was very concerned with that fight, and it was a major step up for him, but I think he delivered, and I think he showed the potential that he's got. I mean, we see all the things that Chris does in here week in, week out, so we're all very impressed, and hopefully we're not pushing him too fast too soon, but I mean, we're all like, yeah, he's the real deal, so we're happy with him.
You don't get too many bangers at that sort of weight, do you?
No, it's very unusual, and you know, and he's shown that every fight, you know, and obviously he shows that in here, but he's also a thinking fighter, and I think the reason why people will like him because he is a box fighter. He can box, but he can fight, and like you just said, with small guys, it's unusual for them to be able to produce that sort of power, like one punch power, which he has.
I've said to him before, he looks a bit like a trainee accountant rather than a boxer, doesn't he?
Funny enough, that's what all the boys say about him as well. So yeah, they give him quite a bit of stick because he looks like butter will melt in his mouth. But like most fighters, they're all like that, quite humble and quite respectful and not loud. But you know, come fight night, come training, they always seem to shine.
Another one who's had a very productive year, plenty of stoppages, all bar one, I think, is middleweight Denzil Bentley. Now, I said to you on the phone last week, I think, whether I was being fanciful comparing him to a young Nigel Benn, and you didn't think I was wildly off the mark, did you?
No, obviously I didn't. I was quite pleased with that, and I think Denzil would be as well. Whether Nigel would or not, I mean, that's another story. But I think he's very exciting, and I think again we're lucky to have a good fighter like him in the gym and be training one. He delivers, he listens. He's never, you know, he's a blessing. He's never late for training. He's always happy to do whatever's got to be done. Sparring, he's happy. But he's happy boxing, you know. He's another one of them who's in love with the sport.
It's funny actually. I remember when you were first bringing him through, you didn't reckon he was like a wildly massive puncher. It's something that, with his timing and everything, that just seems to have come through.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. But I mean, if you think about it, we probably had him here at the gym. Myself, Ray Ball, Andre, and Eric. I think he was probably here. Maybe 2 years sparring with Ahmed Patterson. I mean, to me, I thought Ahmed was a quality fighter, and Denzil done. I've got it written down how many rounds he's done. I mean, he probably done. Well,
he was an amateur. He was an amateur at the Fisher at the time.
Yeah, but he was helping us out all the time. I mean, so we was really lucky, and I think he fed off of that, and obviously he's had loads around with the likes of Ted Cheeseman when he was at Fisher, and like all quality fighters, they need other quality fighters. I mean, it ain't no good being a quality fighter in the gym on your own. You have to be around people who are gonna, how shall I say, test you is probably going to be the wrong word, but going to bring you on. And if you're with real good fighters, like Ahmed was, they'll bring you on without taking liberties. And I think that's where Denzil's been very lucky.
There's no holding him back now, is there? I mean, he wants to go for titles all the way now. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that now, is there?
No, listen, if you're ready, you're ready, isn't you? It's a bit like what you just spoke about Dan. I mean, you know, Dan's 22. We've moved quite fast with Dan. As in, when I say we, I mean Frank, Queensbury, BT, his dad. We're all in love with what he's been doing. But you know, we have to, every now and again, you have to take stock and think, you know, we have to be careful, didn't you?
A nice fight I saw made last week, saw it on social media, a Southern Area middleweight title shot for Shaun Phillips. You done well with that, it's a great fight.
It's a great fight. I mean, you know, fair play to Steve Guvnor. He's putting the fight on, and we're really pleased to be working with him and moving Shaun's career forward.
Is it Pagan Davis, something like that?
Yes. Yeah, it's a good way. It's a great fight for Shaun, and it's a good fight for the gym. It's a good fight for our little squad. But obviously he's still got to go and win. The other fella's coming to win as well. So I love Southern area title fights. I think, to me, you always get value for. When I say that, it's probably horrible, but you always get value for money. You always get honest fights.
They deliver, don't they?
They always deliver. They're always good fights. So, to be in good Southern area title fights, it's great for the gym.
What did that ultimate boxer do for Shaun?
For his confidence, I mean, he was flying. He was, it really did do him well. I thought we was really unlucky, but like all trainers, when their fighters lose, we think we've done a little bit more than we did. But I thought Shaun deserved to be in the final. But fair play to the boy who did get to the final.
It was a tight call, wasn't it?
It was a tight call.
You could probably say, but you got old man for one round, didn't he?
That's it. Listen, it was the experience, and Shaun got the experience. That's what we went there for, and that's what boxing's about: gaining experience. It ain't always about keeping your O as much as you want to try and do that for all your fighters. But sometimes you just you have to move forward and you have to take gambles. We took a bit of a gamble there, but to be fair, it brought Shaun on a lot, and he's grown a lot since then. And not with just what he does in the gym, with what he does outside the gym. He's a confident lad.
I'll take you back to December. Obviously, the Peacock put on a dinner show on Park Lane, and you had Ryan Robinson on there, his first fight since joining you, which took him up to 5-0. Tell us a little bit about him. I mean, we've interviewed him, we know his backstory with Lennox and everything else, but what have you made of him since he's joined up with you?
Like most of the kids who are in our squad, he's walked straight in, and I feel like he's always been here. So that's quite an hard one. What do I make of him? He's a likeable kid. I mean, he's from Forest Gate, which is our manor, but obviously he's told you that he moved on in life, and he's done quite a bit of travelling, and now he's back here. So it's great that he's going to be representing Forest Gate, Canning Town, whatever you want to say, the gym, and I'm pleased he's here.
You said he's one that boxing fans will enjoy watching.
Well, because he's slick, but he's like a lot of southpaws. People don't really appreciate because they're very, I won't say negative, but they're mostly counter punchers and that. But he actually looks for his work going forward. So I'm pleased with that. But he's quite cunning and all. So yeah, I think you'll enjoy him. I mean, go and have a look at him.
Now another young man who made his debut on your show, Adam Hussein, little talented fella from Wickham. He got his debut done. What did you make of that? You reckon he's a talent, don't you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Look, at the moment, we've got 3 little kids. I shouldn't say that. We've got 3 fellas who are around that weight. So we're really lucky. We've got Louie, we've got Chris, and we've got Adam. So we've got great in-house sparring. It's all different. They're all 3 of them are different fighters. Adam's quite relaxed. He's more mature than what his age is or his years are.
He's only 19, 20.
Baby, absolute baby. But if you watch him box, you think he's the pro game's going to suit him down to the ground. So another one to watch, which is lucky for us.
Yeah, you got him off the mark. Now another one you've inherited recently. You just mentioned his name. Is Louie Lynn, and he was very sort of feisty at the copper box. He really went for it, and a bit of spite in there.
Louie's one of them. It's like some boys you have to, speed up a little bit, Louie, but we've got to try and slow Louie down a little bit. He's a how can I say without sounding rude? He's a bundle of energy. He's like a dynamo. He don't stop. Everything we do, he wants to do 100 mile an hour. He wants to win everything, and he's But I'm sure he's going to mature into the pro game. But at the moment, I don't think his style's quite right at the moment. But I think if we slow it down a little bit and he's a little bit more deliberate, I think then we're gonna see the best of him. But he is what he is. Once he's in there, he's like, that's what he wants to do.
He's enjoying being part of a unit here, isn't he?
I'd like to think so. I mean, I don't really speak to him every day about that because I just like to see him grow into the squad, and I think he has. Again, we've inherited a good fighter there. That's just luck. That's just how it goes. He is a good fighter, but as a team, we've still got to make sure that he produces what his potential is, and that's hard. That's hard because I see bundles of potential in him, but again, we've got to tweak his style a little bit. And when I say that, I hope I'm not being rude to him. Yeah.
Sure, you won't take it that way. I want to move on to a heavyweight. I want to give him a plug, and I'm going to leave you to say his surname. You've got a Croatian heavyweight called Dorian. He's had 3 fights now, I think. Is it just 2? Yeah, and his second one was on Frank Warren's dinner show before Christmas. Now, you've had him around since Daniel Dubois has been pro, and he sparred tens of hundreds of rounds. Obviously, not being a London native, it's not so easy to get him moving, but you're happy with what he's doing, aren't you?
Oh yeah, listen, Dorian's a complete asset here. He's as I keep saying, we've got a nice little team. Dorian is a major member, player, however you want to say that. He turned over exactly the same time as Dan. He's done all the rounds with Dan, not as many, but he's helped out every camp we've done, if you want to call it a camp, because we're always in camp, so it ain't much of a camp. But I mean, Dorian sparred every time, helped Dan get ready for every fight. He's a real asset. He is a real asset, and it's also someone for Dan to train alongside, because where we've got boys of all different weights, they've all got someone to sort of compete with and look at and judge themselves with. Whereas if we didn't have Dorian, Dan would be on his own a little bit in that respect, that we've got a group of fellas, good fighters who are in the gym, and Dan ain't got no one to see where his levels are. Like if we're all out running, Dan's running with smaller fellas. If we're all, if we're doing weights, he's lifting weights with bigger. It's hard. It's hard. But with Dorian, he's got a real good stable, mate. And
I bet you make some calls on his behalf, don't you, to try and get him fights? It must be a thankless job for you.
To be fair, we're always asking, but with a lot of fighters, you go cap in hand, don't you? That's the game. There ain't no problem with that. We're lucky. I've got Eddie Muskrat, who's here, and does a bit of matchmaking. Eddie's always asking if there's any jobs with sparring. I'm always asking if we can go away sparring with Dorian.
How many people are going to risk one of their heavyweights against an unknown Croatian? It's hard,
Well, it's hard, and I don't blame them. But listen, as we spoke about when we was talking earlier, we were saying this game's about being patient. Sometimes you can be in the gym for a year, not get a fight, and then you get a call, but you've always got to be ready. And
well, you know that from the Oval days. You had them ready at hours' notice, didn't you?
Yeah, even down to that, going back to Ali Forbes. We'd always be in the gym waiting for someone to phone up, because no one really wanted to fight him, because they knew he was going to come and have a fight, and then out of the blue he gets a call for Clinton Woods. So it happens, and good fighter, Clinton Woods, but that's the job. Sometimes that's the job for some fighters, and that's just how it opens up. That's boxing. Also,
before Christmas, you went over to York Hall for a Southern Area title fight with Billy Allington, who works with you, and Daniel Egbeniki, who won on points. I mean, it got some brave reviews I looked on social media, and the fight was very well received.
Listen, when I said to Bill afterwards, I said, there's not many people in the country that could do 10 hard rounds, and credit to the other kid, they done 10 hard rounds. There's no disgrace in that. I mean, Bill can come in here and hold his head high, but there's a few things that we didn't do which we could have done. But that's sport. He's got a different script from us. Just because we want it to go one way doesn't mean it's gonna. I mean, I'd have loved that for Bill. Like, we'd have all been chuffed to bits. But that kid comes in here, he spars. It's boxing.
The second round, the 10th round, he could have got him out of there, and it could have all been different. Probably, like you say, where he's got to improve on is the bit in between.
Well, I think we're going to sleep from the 3rd to the 9th, and Bill's got an engine, but sometimes you have to believe in that, and you have to, sometimes you have to put it on the line, don't you? And like you just said, in the 10th round, Bill come into his own. Now, yeah, you come into your own.
15-round fighter. Remember them?
Yeah, exactly. How did you come into your own in the 10th round? Yeah. I don't know, But listen, it is what it is. Again, it's all experience, and you can't take nothing away from Bill or the kiddie box, because they put on a great show, and that's what Southern Area fights are all about. That was a 50-50 in anyone's eyes. All right, that's how I looked at it, and that's where Bill was in his career. But listen, Bill's proved he can do 10 rounds. He's proved his Southern Area level. you know, what can you do?
James Branch.
Yes.
He got another win under his belt before Christmas. He's got another outing in February on a dinner show. He's making progress and he's developing, and you can see the improvements fight to fight.
Yeah. Listen, James is like, you know, one of them. It's one of them boys that you have a soft spot for, and that's not saying I like him better than any of the other boys, but he's a real character and he's a great asset in the gym, and he's a slow burner. And when I say that, I don't mean that rude to him. He will hopefully, like we all believe, he's going to mature into a really good fighter. He is already a good fighter, and he's proved that in the amateurs. But the pros is a little bit different. As we just said, it's a completely different game, and I think James is growing into it. He's actually growing into it. Even when he does his rounds in here now, it's different from when he first started.
He's kind of got a style all of his own, hasn't he? It's not something you see very often, is it?
No, listen, like all fighters, they all have their own style, but you have to just tweak a couple of little things. You know, you can't have them all fighting the same. It don't work. You have to work on what they're good on. And there's a couple of things that James is really good on, and there's one or two things that he's not so good on. But hopefully we can iron all them creases out as we go along. But it's not easy.
Now, word has it, but you've got a decent heavyweight in here. I can't remember his name. What was it? British champion, about 8 or 9 other title belts, isn't it? Come on, Daniel Dubois, tell us.
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, we're very lucky to have Dan here. He's a big part of the squad. He's absolutely massive.
Very big, yeah.
And Dan's another one of them kids. He's just a pleasure to work with. You see him, he walks in, gets on the scales, does all his work, gets on the scales. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
We know what's being talked about at the moment. It's been no secret on social media. Frank's put out a post saying talks are ongoing, talks are positive. I spoke to Dan. He said, as far as he's concerned, from his side, bring it on. You got the same sentiments?
Of course, yeah. Listen, it's a fight that everyone wants to see, isn't it? I mean, who else do either of them fight? I mean, you know, Dan had 5 fights last year, and I thought everyone was a progressive fight. Even the job that he done in December, I thought was really good. I thought he read that fella's work well, and he began to look the fighter that we want him. Well, we're hoping he's going to be. We want him to be, however you want to say that. I just think it's a great fight if it happens. If it don't, we'll get somebody else. But listen, it's boxing. Anything can happen. We could make all the arrangements in the world for that fight, and something can happen in the last minute. So we're going to prepare for someone of that size, that calibre, as best as possible. And I'm sure he's going to do the same for us.
Now then, I hope I haven't missed anyone. And if I have, it's on me. Don't blame Martin. We've been through the squad. Martin, we wish you another very productive 2020. We're sure there'll be more titles, more big nights, more everything. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you for watching.
Cheers.